I am Troy Bell, CEO and president of Black Label Supplements, and we're super excited to have Kirk Lindsay on our podcast, one of our Black Label athletes. He has great content. He's been super supportive of Black Label, and we're really, really excited to have him in. Thanks for being here, Kirk.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah,
Excited to
so
be here.
tell me a little bit about yourself, what you compete in, what you do, and how you got involved in it.
I'm an Idaho guy. I grew up in Blackfoot. I graduated from there in '88. I was a track guy there. I'm still the 100-meter school record holder at Blackfoot.
At Blackfoot High School.
Yes.
Go Broncos.
So, yeah, go Broncos. So that's kind of how it was. I coached track at Blackfoot for 5 years when I was younger, in my 20s, and then just kind of, life caught up and just kind of stopped doing everything. I played in the Rocky Mountain Football League for a few years, and
Did you really?
I loved competing. I liked doing it, and when I stopped doing that, I kind of just fell apart a little bit. I wasn't working out real hard, and I was up to almost 200 pounds, so I looked terrible. And I had a buddy that was like, "Man, we should do a Spartan race." And I said, "It sounds terrible, but let's do it." So that's really where we got going back to getting back to the gym and started doing that. And that's been about 15 years ago. And then when I worked at the golf course, they were doing the senior games at Highland one year. And we were watching, so we drove down there and I asked some questions. And I was talking. I was like, "Man, I can do this in a couple years." And I was like, "Man, all right." So I did it, and I won my first track meet here at the Southeast Idaho Senior Games. I won the 50 and the 100, and I was like, "Well, that was kind of fun." And all the guys there were like, "Man, are you going to state championships?" And I was
What's
like,
that?
"Exactly." I was like, "There's more?" It was like, I kind of thought this was just here, and they're like, "No, this thing's huge." They're like, "There's nationals, there's world championships." And I was like, "Sounds like a lot." So I registered, and I went over to Boise, and I was a state champion in the 50 and the 100, and I was like, "Man," Carson was like, my son, he says, "You should long jump too." I said, "Okay." So I signed up for the long jump, and I won the long jump.
So did you long jump in high school, or did you just pick up long jump?
I did a little bit here and there, but I had a lot of running events. So
Okay.
I had relays, and so no, I wasn't like a regular long jumper. I coached long jump, but I never really competed at it. So this has kind of been new for me. I did the high jump one year, and it was a disaster because I'd never done that. And I thought, well, I don't know, how hard can it be? And that year, the guy shows up, and he's like 6'3", 6'4". So I so I end up taking second high jumping. But it's been a blast, and man, just competing has
So
been so
how
fun.
often are you competing?
I was just competing like twice a year, and then my first qualification for the nationals came like 5 years ago, and I was like, "Man, I don't think I'm that guy." So and then I skipped a couple years, and then just kept going, and finally, Jane has really been the catalyst for me continuing and going hard and chasing it. I was like, it's okay, it's here. And then I got another invitation. I qualified for nationals again, and we went this summer. And I went in hurt, and it didn't go the way I wanted. And we'd talked before. I said, I'm either going to keep going really hard at this, or this will be it. And we got there, and it just didn't go the way I wanted. We got done, and I came up hurt in the 100-meter finals. We got to the car, and I was a hard time. Like, I kind of was crying there, and she was like, "You're not done with this."
Good for you.
So she said, "You're just looking at you now. You are not done with this. This was not the end." So I said, "Okay," and I got back and just rehabbed and worked real hard, and went down to World Championships and came back with 2 silver medals.
That's impressive. I'm glad you shared that story. I think every athlete that is grinding, trying to win, do those things, they reach a point through challenges and hardships where it's like, is this even worth it? Right? I have 6 collegiate athletes in my own family, my kids, and sometimes they're just like, after a setback, an injury, something like that, it's like, hey, is this really worth it? All the training, the blood, the sweat, the tears. So obviously you've had some challenges.
Right. It was,
And
and it's kind of new to me being hurt. It was something that had never, I'd gone through all my, athletics, never been injured. So that was kind of new. Fighting through that's been a little bit difficult, but
so as far as challenges go, has injuries been like the most prominent challenges, or is it your mental toughness? Like what is your biggest
I've
challenge?
always gone into it going, I'm going to win.
Right.
That's just been my mindset when I race. I always feel like I'm going to win. And so mentally, it hasn't been super hard. Battling back from the injuries has been really tough. And then just kind of believing that I belong on the national world stage. I'm a farm kid from Blackfoot, Idaho. I grew up on a cattle ranch. It's
Idaho
not.
tough.
It
I love
doesn't.
it.
It doesn't feel like. It didn't feel like I was supposed to be there. When I got to national championships, it was like, man, like I feel like I've waited my whole life to get here. When I won my first state championship, I was like, man, that's crazy. I can't believe that I still get to do this, and I'm having fun doing it.
Yeah, what a great experience. I mean, obviously you thought your athletic career was over.
Right, and that was one of the reasons that I really had started to ref, is that I could still be on the field, and it smelled like football and it sounded like football, but it didn't hurt like football.
That's right.
So reffing has been a way for me as an adult to stay in touch with sports, and stay in shape and keep playing, basically.
I love that about you. That's how I know you I mean, in the last, 15, 20 years, I've seen you reffing my kids' games. You're everywhere, and I really appreciate that. I said to you in the past, I'm pretty sure I gave you a hard time once or twice, but hopefully you've forgiven me.
I do it. And that just comes with the territory. You kind of got to expect a little bit. You put on the funny shirt, and you're public enemy number one.
You
right?
are.
So
You're the enemy.
you blow the whistle or throw the flag, and half the stadium is not happy. So
No, I'm a little jealous. I think being a ref keeps that competitive nature in you, keeps you wanting more. And I can see how that led you to going back. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 55.
55, and you're doing this.
Yeah, so I'll be 56 January.
That is amazing. I'm only 47, and long jump and sprinting are two things. I've had a knee replacement, but sprinting and jumping, once you're over 40, like those things go away. I don't. How have you been able to do that?
I don't know, honestly. I guess good genetics has helped a lot, and we've kind of been blown away as we've traveled to some of these meets. When we were at the World Championships, they were hurdling, and I found that to be insane.
That is insane.
We saw 75-year-old guys running the hurdles, so that's been inspiring. We were in Iowa, and we saw a 104-year-old guy run. I mean. And I thought, man, I'm getting to the end of things. And then I see a guy that's 104, and I'm like, man, I got 50 more years.
Yeah, good for you. We talked about challenges and things that, make sport or being an athlete difficult. One of the things that I tell my kids all the time is, when you compete at a high level, no matter what age, you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about life. What has competing in athletics, even at this later stage of your life, taught you about yourself?
I guess that I don't know, it's never too late to keep going. I mean,
I love that.
I was, in my late 30s and nearly 200 pounds. And, I was a 145-pound wrestler in high school. I had no business being 200 pounds. So, that was really hard on me. I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't feel good about my life. I'd kind of struggled through a divorce. Things were hard. And honestly, I think sport has saved me. I'd kind of been on a self-destructive path. And finding something to chase has made all the difference in the world for me. And having a partner that is all about it and chasing it and says to me, I love watching you run. That's huge for me. Being able to go home and having my best friend in my corner and sharing the loudest. And, she's been the best travel partner and statistician and saying, this is the guy you got to watch. And, these are the times you're looking for. So, having a great partner has been a huge, huge advantage for me.
Yeah, I think any athlete throughout their career has to have a support system that not only builds them up when they're successful, but when they're not successful or struggling with challenges, continually pushes them.
Right.
And I think that the most competitive and most successful athletes have that support system. And that's, that brings me back to what I love about Black Label is our mission and goal is to support athletes and help them win.
And I've had a great time with this. Tyson's been great. It's awesome. Having a guy that competes in the same event I do.
Yeah.
We
Both
can
masters
talk,
athletes.
we can talk
Great.
a little bit, and I finished a personal training certification last year, and as I was doing a lot of studying, I started to realize that people my age are struggling with their fitness, and just the statistics on how people are going downhill as you start to age was just blowing me away. And I was like, I'm not going to be that guy. I mean, you break your hip, and typically you're dead in 3 months.
Right.
And that's the simple stuff, like lift every day, go hard, work hard at it. It's like some people are like, I don't have the time. Do you have the time to be dead at 40? I mean, you want to hold your grandkids, you want to be able to pick them up.
Yeah, and you're a perfect example of that. I mean, you have your career, you have relationships, you have family, and you still make the time to train and compete, right? Most people at your age don't even have competition in the back of their mind. So it takes a high level of, organization, I'm sure, obviously dedication, but it does tell you and us the type of person that you are, and I love that about you. Masters athletes, there's just something different in their head, and I love that.
And I've loved meeting new people, as we've traveled around, just kind of getting some feedback, because I've kind of been, a big fish in a small pond in Idaho. I've got like 9 state championships, I think, and it felt like it came kind of easy, which made me nervous, as I went, man, do I really belong at national championships? That was a big deal for me going in. Am I just this guy? Am I the guy from here that's great? And, I'm going to go somewhere else and find out that, hey, you're not that great. But, I got there, and even injured, I was able to make finals in both races. Didn't get to long jump. I was hurt enough to not do that. But, that kind of reaffirmed for me that, yeah, I'm doing the work. I'm going hard. And I do belong here. I belong with these guys.
As far as, the successes you've had, what do you esteem or what do you feel is like the most successful thing you've done? Is it state championships? Is it making it to nationals? Is it staying healthy?
I think just like I consider the long jump my worst event, and I did not jump well at world championships, and I got one off good enough to be the silver medalist.
So you got a silver at nationals?
Yeah, at world championships.
World championship?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that was a blast. And then I actually had a relay team at world championships, and we took a silver medal in the 4x100 as well.
And do you do anything longer than the 100?
I do when I run with Jane. Jane likes to run a long ways, so typically we'd run down to Vegas in February, and we'd run a 10K and a 5K.
Yeah, anything over a 400 to me is like a marathon nowadays.
And that seems like so far. Like I was a 100, 200 guy in high school. And
Right.
now I look at it and they're like, you don't run the 200? I'm like, I don't know. It seems pretty far. So I don't know. I want to add a few events. I was watching the guys throw the javelin. I think I could do it.
Absolutely.
I think it'd be all right. So
You're long. I bet you could throw that thing.
So we're gonna try a few new things. Just experiment. I'm having a blast. There's I guess at this point no limits, right? I mean,
Right. So what is it, Kirk, that is actually motivating you to go further, to go harder, to keep competing? What is that one thing that really motivates you?
I want my kids to never quit. I got a boy that went and he played college football in California, and he had a hard time with it, and he said, it's just not for me. That's not my deal. And I watched him struggle with that, and then he kind of settled into it. He's like, that's okay. I'm okay with that. And I just want him to be able to go, keep moving forward, right? He's just chose a new path, right? And he's moving toward that. And I got a daughter that just turned 13, and I want her to keep going. Just whatever it is you want to do, be great at it, right? Like, I don't even care if they play sports.
Right.
If you're going to be a piano player, be the best. Just chase it hard. I mean, really, the kids, like, I want my kids to to look at it and go, you never have to stop, right? Yeah. There's no reason to grow old and slow down and be worn out.
Yeah, no, I love that. I try to relay that same message to my kids. They've competed at young ages. Sometimes I know they're burned out. We've never pushed our kids to, do anything they didn't want to do. But when they come to us and say, you know what, this is bothering me. I don't know if I want to do this. It's tough. I feel like it's my responsibility to just build them up.
Right.
And to teach them, do what you want to do, but don't quit. And one of the things I always tell my kids, and it's anytime I share anything on Instagram or anything about them, it's just no matter what you're doing, go do it and go be great.
Right.
Whether it's sports, life, business, go be great.
That is awesome because I say that to the kids like every morning. Be great today. Like so much so that my 20-year-old, he's like, okay, I know. You don't have to tell me because he's heard it enough times.
There are a lot of things that help people be great in whatever they do, but I think competing and being 100% invested into competing and winning, it just teaches you things about life.
Right. I mean, and until this summer, I hadn't lost a race competing as an adult.
That's amazing.
And, going to Iowa was hard. Like, I wasn't ready to lose. And that experience has been enough for me to go, you know what, when I get to Tulsa in 27, I'm the guy. I will be ready. I'm not going to be hurt. I'm going to be 100%. I'm chasing hardware in Tulsa.
Yeah, I love you saying I'm not ready to lose because, I mean, losing can become a habit, right?
Absolutely.
And nobody likes to lose, so I love that. I love that you have that mentality because I hate to lose too. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. It's. I've been having a blast doing it, really, and I think as long as I'm having fun, I'm going to keep going.
Good for you. So, what advice would you give to a person who is maybe in their, let's say 35 in masters, that's thinking about coming out of retirement to do something crazy and fun like you're doing now? What advice would you give them?
Do the crazy and fun thing. I worked out 0 before my first race, and I thought, well, let's go see what's happening. Let's go see if I got anything.
I'm surprised you didn't pull a hammy or something.
And the crazy thing is, I was like, I was not prepared at all. I had no shoes to race in. I was like, man, what am I gonna do? My son said, well, your spikes are in there. So I pulled out my track shoes from 1988, and I put them on, and I raced in them 2 more times, and they held up for 2 more races for me. And then I had to go buy new shoes. But
that's crazy.
It was fun. And then just going hard. And as far as Black Label, I went through a lot of stuff. I mean, the first time I used a pre-workout, I'd been to GNC, right? Because that's where you go to get all the information. And, as you come to find later, they don't really have that much information. So the first time I pre-workout, the guy said, no, you got to try this. And I was like, okay, whatever. You're trying to sell it to me. And I was like, man, this is too much. Like, I was just buzzing off the rails. Yeah. I was like, man, it's too much. So I went through like a lot of different supplements, trying different creatines, just all the stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm buying 10 different brands of stuff. And then I just like, the odd thing was I just on an Instagram post just popped up and it was your ad. And I was like, all right, let's check it out. These guys are from here. So
let's give it a shot.
Yeah. So I ordered some stuff and I was like, all right, I like it. I said, well, so I went for a few more things, and then one day on your thing it said popped up the athlete page, and I was like, I guess I can give that a try. I've been competing. We'll see how it goes. And so, a year later, here we are.
What is it about being a Black Label athlete that you have found beneficial to your goals?
The access to the supplements I need. I like a lot of the training stuff that's on the page, the information that I go through, and the association, right, of being with other top level athletes. I like that a lot. And for me, I don't want to be the worst guy on the roster, right?
You're not. I'm on the roster, so I'm the worst. I'm the worst.
So that's a big motivation for me. Is I want to be. I want to be worthy of being that guy, right? That's wearing your gear. That's people are asking questions. So everywhere we go when we race, I try to wear the stuff. I long jumped and I was wearing the shirt that says "Nobody Cares." And the next day we got there and the guy came running over and he goes, "Hey, were you wearing the Nobody Cares Train Harder shirt?" I said, "I was." And he's like, "Where'd you get it?" And I said, Black Label Supplements, my sponsor. He said, "What's that from?" I said, "Pocatello." And he goes, "Well, I'm from Pocatello." I said, "Well, man, there you got to get on it. Let's start going."
Well, I love that.
So-
It is our mission to support athletes in any way we can to help them win. In order to be a Black Label athlete, you actually have to be competing so many times a year, and that's our commitment to athletes, that you are part of an elite group, right? This isn't just anyone apply and you can be an ambassador. And that's why we try to be aggressive with discounts and things like that. What is it that potentially makes, would make Black Label a better partner as an athlete? What could we do more for you?
Geez, I always want to, I don't know if preach is the right word, but when I'm out there with these guys, I think a lot of people my age are not using supplementation. I think it's a little bit of a foreign concept for people past maybe 40.
I agree.
Because it was something, I was never, hey, we got to pack on the protein and, I need to take my omega-3s. And, I was never that guy.
After 40, it's all about omega-3s.
Right. So I was never that guy. And for me, I think just being able to kind of tell people and say, hey, this is what you want to do. So for me, I kind of been just collecting up your sample packs. And so that's something that for me that I want to do while I compete is like, hey, try this, take these home, let me know what's going on.
Yeah.
See if you're into it. I think that for me, mission-wise, is to get the Gen X group healthy. Like, I love my friends, and, I want them to be around. I want us all to still be talking when we're 80, 90 years old. In the last 5 years, I've seen a lot of guys, local guys, 50 and under, dying, heart attack here, just crazy things.
Yeah, we are definitely unhealthy in America. I think that obesity, how we eat, processed food, I think that's the true pandemic in America right now.
Right. I mean, everything's convenience, which I think is why a lot of people aren't working out. It's not convenient, and it hurts. Right? Yeah. It's not easy.
Yeah. As you know, all of Black Label's performance supplements that we try to push are NSF certified for sport. What does that mean to you as an athlete, that you can trust our label 100%? There's no lead, metal, bacteria in our product, and you'll pass tests.
I love all that, especially the testing as I kind of move forward now as I'm in, USATF and start moving toward Masters events and some of these other sponsored events. I am subject to drug testing. And with, I don't know, maybe a weird C4 or, something crazy. You're not 100% sure what's in that. I do like that it's been certified. So as far as me being, on a, more national and global stage, those are things that I can, I got to consider, if I go somewhere and they're said, no, today we're testing, if I also have a great day, and push off some.
Peace of mind, we hope, is something that our athletes can take with them in their training, the confidence that they won't pop on a test. So.
And that's been huge as I get, as I kind of move up the ladder a little bit. For here, I was like, yeah, whatever, it's not a big deal. No one's checking. I don't know what's in it. It's probably not going to matter while I compete, in the Southeast Idaho games. No one cares. But as I go to national championships and world championships and I start reading through it, it does say, you're subject to, USATF track and field, rules and testing. So that, for me, I was like, that's great. No worries now. Everything's good.
Fantastic. So what are your go-to products? What's your favorite product and flavor, and why?
Probably the pre-game is what I use the most. I use the pre-hustle a lot when I lift, but just for when I'm running and doing more of my cardio stuff, the pre-game works for me better. It gives me a little less.
Yeah.
I'm a little less shaky, and
you're not a huge guy, so a lower dose of caffeine is probably perfect for you.
Right. Yeah. So I don't get. Sometimes I'll go and it's almost too much. I almost can't work out if I get a little too much stim. So I really like the pregame, and I go the Lime Ricky. I think is my favorite with that one.
I created that one.
That's
an Idaho thing, right?
Lime it is,
Ricky.
Right? Yeah. So I like that one. I really am enjoying the vanilla protein. Because I kind of like to mix other things in, banana or whatever. And so something that comes already flavored is kind of like, okay, I can do it. But I really love the vanilla now. So
that's perfect.
That's my new go-to there.
Yeah, our pregame has been extremely popular in Major League Baseball. Now we have our first NFL team that orders it as well. The goal of that was a lower dose of caffeine, 150 milligrams, because we know caffeine is a stimulant that should be taken based upon body weight, right? You get some of these other brands, it's like 400 milligrams of caffeine. Well, that's not appropriate for a smaller person, right? And so we're glad that you see the value in that.
Yeah, I've loved it. The Tamiflex, I mean, I'm not a young guy, so, joints aren't, things wear out. There's only so many steps and everything. So for me, my knees and hips with taking the Tamiflex and the collagen protein has made a huge difference in me, flexibility-wise and pain-wise in my joints.
I would say for masters athletes, those are the two go-tos as well for us, is Tamiflex and collagen, just because, I mean, the data showing the benefits of Tamiflex versus a glucosamine.
Right, and I had done that. I'd done glucosamine over the years, and had never got this, the results that I thought, man, everybody talks how great it is, and it was never that great.
Yeah.
Huge changes though for me, and the Tamiflex and the collagen protein has made a lot of difference. So my mornings are, the omega-3, the Tamiflex, the ashwagandha. So
hey, when we're old, we got to stick to a routine.
Right.
We got to stick to it. So as you know, our motto here at Black Label is grind, hustle, win, repeat. Of those 4 words, which word do you feel like describes you the best, or supports you in your goals?
I don't know. I feel like I'm grinding all the time. It's always quiet in my house because I'm the only one up in the mornings. I'm up, 5 o'clock to go, get things going, work out, get ready to go. I think that for me is just it. Like, I find value in the work. When I was growing up, I grew up on a big farm, and my dad always said, "You will learn to love work." And I always just thought that was the craziest thing to say. And as an adult, I find it that I do. I love the work. I love, I don't know, the road. Just doing it, just putting in the time.
That's why you're where you're at, right? I do see you as a grinder. I really do. Just, seeing you out reffing, competing at your age. I mean, the only way to describe you is you know how to grind and work. It does not surprise me that you grew up in Blackfoot, Idaho. It does not. I mean, I know a lot of people that are born and raised in southeast Idaho, and they know how to work and they know how to grind. So
I mean, I watched my dad never miss work. My dad was 100%er when he worked for Kraft for, over 20 years. Never missed a day of work. And we didn't live close to town, and he ran a 300-acre cattle ranch. So my dad was a 40-hour-a-week guy and came home and ran a farm and never missed a day. So, not showing up is not something I know how to do.
yeah, we could show these young folks a few things, right? Maybe not how to sprint, but show them what's up.
You got a good crew, man. I see Dane out hustling all over the place.
Oh, we have the best crew.
He's
here.
going hard all the time.
We're going hard. So, Kirk, what has taking Black Label supplements done for you?
It's allowed me to just kind of consolidate all the supplements I'm using, kind of stay focused, have a partner, right, in my training, kind of know what I'm working towards as far as, my goals. You guys have been great for me. I've enjoyed all of it. It's been motivating for me because now I feel like I got to stay on top of it. Someone expects something.
We're watching you.
So, I mean, for me, that's been a big part of me being a Black Label athlete is now I got to perform. And I said that one day to Jane. I was like, when we had talked about, man, am I going to keep doing this? And I was like, there's a lot of pressure. I'm like, these guys are going to expect me to win. And so I guess that's why I'm here is I want to win, and you guys are kind of getting me there.
Good. What would your advice be to someone that might be overweight, out of shape, doesn't know where to start, is afraid of starting?
I was there. I was, 40 pounds at least overweight. 200 pounds for me was too much. My knees hurt, my ankles hurt, my hips hurt. I had just accepted the fact that I was getting knee replacements and hips and just going to the gym, right? I think everyone's goals tend to be, I'm going to go hard for a year. go hard for a day, right? Like,
Yeah, just
you
start,
know,
right?
I mean, isn't that the kind of the mantra? If you're, you know, if you're not going to drink or whatever it is, I'm not going to drink today. So, if your goal is to get fit, I'm going to the gym today, right? It's not about tomorrow. I'm getting up and I'm going today. I'm going to eat healthy today. Right? I'm gonna read today. Whatever it is, it's just today, right? Like tomorrow's coming no matter what, but just do it today.
Yeah.
Right? And pretty soon, you know, you've got 365 todays put together.
Yeah, you got to get that one day I'll do it and
Right.
start day one, right?
Exactly.
The
Just
old statement.
step on the path. Really, that's. I mean, my dad was, you know, a pretty religious guy, and he used to say, you know, if you want God to guide your footsteps, you got to move your feet.
That's right.
So you know, it's kind of something I'm looking at, right? If you got to move your feet. No one's coming to get you. No one's coming to get you, pick you up, take you to the gym.
Good for you. What is your Instagram account? Do you know?
I think at In Stripes One.
At InStripes One. If you want to go follow Kirk, make sure you go see him at InStripes One. Well, thank you, Kirk. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you being a Black Label athlete. KIRK.
Yeah.
You can get 15% off, and you can support Kirk. So make sure you use his code. You know, he gets commission off that, which helps him continue his grind and go to nationals and compete at all levels. Anything that you want to say before we sign off? Any advice?
Just don't quit. You know, I mean, even when it hurts, just keep going. And for all the Gen X, right? Like, we're not getting any younger. It doesn't matter when you get on the path. Just get on the path.
Old man pride.
Right,
Let's go.
I need more people. I need more training partners. I need more people to race. So
That's
I
right.
need you guys to get off the couch.
Well, please make sure you use Kirk's code. Support him. Thank you for joining us in our podcast. Remember, grind, hustle, win, repeat.